It is 20 minutes to 5 in the morning on the 1st of September 1939. Over the small Polish town of Wieluń, German dive bombers fall out of a clear dawn sky. Wieluń has no garrison. It has no factory. What it has, painted on one of its rooftops, is a red cross, a hospital. The first bombs of the Second World War do not fall on a fortress or a fleet. They fall here, on sleeping civilians. By the time the morning is over, much of the town is rubble and hundreds of its people are dead. Wieluń becomes one of the first towns in history wiped off the map from the air. Minutes later, 300 kilometers to the north, in the harbour of the free city of Danzig, an old German battleship, the Schleswig-Holstein, opens fire on a tiny Polish outpost called Westerplatte. The clock reads 4:45. Remember that name, we will come back to it. Within 5 weeks, the most modern war machine in Europe will strike this country from 3 directions at once. And by the time it is over, Poland will have vanished from the map, torn in two by its neighbours. This is how it happened, day by day. To understand how this begins, you have to go back 20 years. After the First World War, the Treaty of Versailles redraws Europe. A reborn Poland is given a narrow strip of land to the sea, the Polish corridor. It gives Poland a coastline, but it also cuts the German province of East Prussia off from the rest of Germany. To Berlin, it is a humiliation written straight into the map. And then there is Danzig, a city that is mostly German, but vital to Polish trade. Versailles gives it to no one. It becomes a free city under the League of Nations, a solution that satisfies absolutely no one. It is here, surrounded by hostile Germans, that Poland keeps a small military depot on a sliver of land called Westerplatte. In 1933, Adolf Hitler takes power in Germany. In his book, he had already written what he wanted: living space in the east. And that space lies exactly where Poland stands. One country at a time, he tears up the post-war order. Austria, then the Czech borderlands. Then, in the spring of 1939, the rest of Czechoslovakia. Each time the West protests and gives way. Then it is Poland's turn. Berlin demands Danzig and a road and railway across the corridor. Poland refuses. Its foreign minister, Józef Beck, tells the Polish parliament, peace is a precious and desirable thing, but there is one thing in the life of men, nations and states that is beyond price. That thing is honor. Hitler's answer comes from an unexpected direction. On the 23rd of August, in Moscow, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, 2 sworn enemies, sign a pact of non-aggression. But the part that matters is the part the world will not see for decades. A secret protocol dividing Eastern Europe between them. It cuts Poland in half. The sentence is passed before a single shot is fired. Poland is not entirely alone. Britain and then France have guaranteed her independence. Attack Poland and you are at war with us. Warsaw believes it only has to hold on for a couple of weeks. On paper, the German plan has a name: Fall Weiss, Case White. 3 blows from 3 sides, all converging on one point: Warsaw. The aim is to trap Poland's armies west of the Vistula and destroy them before they can retreat. The arithmetic is merciless. Germany throws in around 1.5 million men, more than 2,000 tanks, 2,000 aircraft. Poland can field fewer than 1 million soldiers, a fraction of the armour and a fraction of the planes. And this is something the world has never seen before. Tanks massed together, aircraft owning the sky, speed. The Germans will call it blitzkrieg, lightning war. Poland faces a trap of geography. After Germany swallowed Czechoslovakia, her border runs for over 1,500 kilometers, exposed from the west, the north, and the south. It cannot all be defended. The Polish command stretches its armies near the frontier anyway, to shield the industrial west and to hold every meter until the French and British come. It is a brave decision. It will prove a costly one. All that is missing is a pretext. On the night of the 31st of August, SS men in civilian clothes storm a German radio station in the border town of Gleiwitz and leave behind a body in a Polish uniform. Germany attacks itself to blame its neighbour. The next morning, Hitler tells his nation, "Since 5:45 a.m, we have been returning fire. It is a lie. No one fired on them. They fired first." At first light on the 1st of September, everything moves at once, along the entire border. The Luftwaffe seizes the sky and hammers the roads and railways. German tank columns smash through the defences and drive deep, not for ground, but to encircle the Polish armies before they can pull back. And yet, this is no walkover. On the very first day, near the village of Mokra, the Wołyń Cavalry Brigade of Colonel Julian Filipovich, horsemen, anti-tank guns and an armoured train, holds an entire German panzer division for a full day and bleeds it. And here we have to deal with the most stubborn myth of this war. Near Kroyanty, Polish Uhlans really do charge with sabres drawn, but at German infantry, which they scatter. It is only afterwards that armoured cars arrive on the road. The next day, German propaganda brings foreign journalists to the field, shows them dead horses beside armoured vehicles, and hands them a ready-made story, that Poles charged tanks on horseback. It is not true, but the myth will outlive the facts. And where the first shells fell, something unexpected is happening. On Westerplatte, around 200 Polish soldiers, under Major Henryk Sucharski and Captain Franciszek Dabrowski, were expected to hold for perhaps 12 hours. They hold for 7 days, under the guns of a battleship, artillery, and 60 bombers. When they finally surrender, the German officers are so struck by the defence that they let Major Sucharski keep his officer's sabre. Westerplatte becomes a symbol, proof that against overwhelming odds, a stand can still be made. A second symbol rises at a tiny village in the northeast. At Wizna, around 700 Polish soldiers under Captain Władysław Raginis stand in the path of an entire corps led by General Guderian, more than 40,000 men. Raginis swears an oath that he will not leave his position alive. His men hold for 3 days. When the ammunition runs out, he orders his men to lay down their arms and stays in his bunker, ending his own life with a grenade. History will call Wizna the Polish Thermopylae. It is hard to think of a better name. And on the 9th of September, Poland lands its one great blow. Along the river Bzura, General Tadeusz Kutscheba throws 2 armies into the exposed flank of the Germans driving on Warsaw. It is the largest battle of the entire campaign. For a few days, it works. The Germans fall back for the first time. And then the sky fills with the Luftwaffe. Without cover from the air, the Polish divisions are surrounded and crushed against the river. But the Bzura is not wasted. It ties down German forces and buys other Polish units the time to fall back on the capital. Warsaw, bombed from the very first day, turns itself into a fortress. It is defended by General Walerian Tuma and by the mayor, Stefan Starzyński, who speaks to the city by radio every day and refuses to surrender. In one broadcast, he tells the world, "Warsaw is fighting, Poland is not yet lost." And then, at dawn on the 17th of September, the thing no one in Warsaw wants to believe. From the east, breaking its own non-aggression pact with Poland, the Red Army crosses the border. Well over 500,000 men. This is the second half of the sentence passed in Moscow. Stalin has simply waited until he was sure the West would not lift a finger. Poland, bleeding in the west, is stabbed in the back from the east. The Commander-in-Chief, Marshal Ryd-Śmigły, gives the order: do not fight the Soviets except in self-defense. That night, the President, the government, and the High Command cross into Romania, where they are interned. And then comes an image that says everything. On the 22nd of September, in the town of Brest-Litovsk, German and Soviet troops hold a joint victory parade, beneath arches hung with swastikas and red stars. The German general Heinz Guderian and the Soviet general Semyon Krivoshein take the salute side by side. The The two invaders are no longer hiding their partnership. And the promised allies? France and Britain declared war on the 3rd of September, and Hitler was genuinely afraid of it. But on the Western Front, almost nothing happens. The French take a few steps into the Tsar and turn around. History will call it the phony war. Let us call it what it was. Poland fights alone. And still, Poland fights on. On the 22nd of September, Lvov falls to the Soviets. On the 25th of September, the heaviest air raid the world has yet seen sets the capital ablaze. And by its end, the bombing has killed some 40,000 of Warsaw's people. On the 28th, the city capitulates. The next day, the fortress of Modlin. On the 2nd of October, the Hel Peninsula falls silent. The last great battle is fought at Kock, where General Franciszek Kleeberg is still fighting after the rest of the country has fallen, having fought both Germans and Soviets on its way. On the 6th of October, he lays down his arms. After 5 weeks, the September campaign is over. And behind the front, another war has already begun. From the first days, SS execution squads round up Polish leaders, priests, and intellectuals, a deliberate effort to erase the nation's elite. The worst of the occupation is still to come. The cost is staggering. Around 70,000 Polish soldiers are dead. More than 400,000 pass into German captivity, and close to 250,000 into Soviet hands. And the country is cut apart, precisely along the line drawn weeks earlier in Moscow. But there is something this map cannot show. Poland, as a state, never signs a surrender. Its government continues in exile, under General Władysław Sikorski. Its army is reborn in France and Britain, and in the occupied country, the largest resistance movement in all of Europe begins to take shape. The campaign lasted 5 weeks. The resistance lasted 6 years. In September 1939, the world saw what the new kind of war looked like, and how fast a country can fall when it is left to stand alone. But this is only the beginning. The same machine that broke Poland in 5 weeks will soon turn west.